Welcome to the Bauer Power Hour, where we pack motorsports, power sports, and the outdoor lifestyle with technology, innovation, news, and good times into an action-packed dirt-flinging show. Hosted by the one and only Charlene Bauer, who's been serving the off-road industry for over 20 years. Time to throw the green flag and get ready for another wild lineup.
Hello, fellow off-roaders, and welcome to this very special episode of Bauer Power Hour. Today we're wrapping up the third season of Bauer Power Hour and highlighting some of our favorite parts of Season 3's 12 episodes and 131 guests. Yes, that is no joke. We talked to 131 folks over the last 6 weeks, all of whom represent the off-road industry in some way. Let's see if I can get through this list without hurting anyone's names. Are you ready? We talked with Trailer Legs, Oceano Dunes SVRA, Sand Limo, Badass Unlimited, Gibson Exhaust, Raceline Wheels, Long Travel Industries, Kicker Audio, Arctic Cat, Speedworks, Speed Energy, PRP Seats, Reach Air Medical Services, BLM Mel Centro, Dragonfire Racing, Stadium Super Trucks, PJ Performance Products, Rugged Radios, Weddell Industries, Custom Built Motors, Tribal Whips, Next Level Motorsports, BF Goodrich Tires, Yamaha Motor Company, Trail Armor, California Four-Wheel Drive Association, Moore Powder Puff Race, Sand Sports Super Show, Funco Motorsports, JMAR, Performance Products, Buckshot Racing, Glamis Sand Dunes, American Sand Association, Honda Motorsports, Sierra Expeditions, PCI Race Radios, American Sand Association, ADS Racing, Race for the Wounded, Local Motors, Weller Racing, Fast Aid, DJ Manufacturing, Flying High Total Performance Centers, Lone Star Racing, Raw Motorsports, Oz Tents, Super ATV, Ben Tech Software, Artec Industries, VisionX, Addictive Desert Designs, Tabs owned by DT Products, Side by Side Performance, Geyser Brothers, Kevin McCullough Racing, TMW Off-Road, AZ Game and Fish Department, Let's Roll Off-Road, Premium Coach Group, Bondurant School of High Performance Driving, BLM OHV Ambassadors, Turtleback Trailers, Vern Lewis Welding Supplies, Desert Toys Motorsports, North Shore Drag Racing, Locomotors, Campbell Racing, Champa, Street Graphics, Arizona Off-Road and Sand Expo, KC Highlights, Icon Vehicle Dynamics, Painless Performance Products, Savvy Off-Road, Rock Solid Off-Road Performance, ARB USA, Crawl Magazine, BFG Outstanding Trails Award, Casey Curry Racing, Rod Hall Racing, Jagged X Power Tank, Score International, Revolution Gear and Axle, UTV Junkies, Sonora Rally, Gilstrap Motorsports, Terra del Sol, Jeepers Jamboree, PSC Motorsports, Metal Cloak, RCV Performance Products, S-Pod, Brenthal Industries, Yoder Racing, Score International, Curry Enterprises, Dana Spicer Parts, Best Top, Laser Star, Billet Lights, Four Wheeler Network, JE Real, Fox Racing Shocks, Southern Crush, Bauer Media, Off-Road Expo, Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing, Rockstar Performance Garage, Torque Master Industries, Outstanding Trails Program, Marty Fee, Jessie Haynes Fabrication, 4x4 Wire, Jackson Motorsports Group, 4-Wheel to Heel, Team Lerner, Yukon Gear and Axle, Winter 4x4 Jamboree, Summit Machine, and Ace Racing. Holy cow! That's 131, folks. And after this season, that brings our total to 198 guests, over 36 hours of produced content, and we aren't stopping. I know. Look at me a little crazy. That's fine, but I'm loving this. I've even learned a lot about our different guests along the way. There's so many awesome stories out there. Well, there's no way that Bauer Power Hour could have continued to be successful without the support of BF Goodrich Tires, Discount Tire, Kicker Audio, and the Mopar Pennzoil Express Lane. When you're thinking about your next purchase in the tire, wheel, stereo categories, or need to change your oil, I would really appreciate that you consider these brands that have a strong commitment to quality and service and the off-road community. Well, what can I say about Season 3? It was show season. We took Bauer Power Hour on the road to the Sand Sports Super Show, the Arizona Off-Road and Sand Expo, and to the Off-Road Expo. It created quite a few challenges that you wouldn't think of. For one, I brought our producer Gabe with me to the show, and the poor guy had to haul around all kinds of camera equipment while I chatted with people and put deals together for the upcoming year. It's one thing for me to impose long days on myself, but having two people endure the pain was certainly a challenge by the third weekend. I will have to say though, we survived, and with a much stronger respect for each other's jobs in this show. I think the funnest part of the trip was when we taped in the truck. If you didn't see those 3 segments, then you have to go back and watch them. They're definitely hysterical. The other challenge that it brought us was on the opposite end of time. Since we were in the truck and heading out to the shows and on the ground all weekend, the work that we do to produce the shows over the weekend wasn't getting done. Well, we got a little behind. There were a few things that didn't get done perfectly, but I'll let you go back and try and find the few flubs that ended up getting through to the final edit. Yes, we have multiple edit stages. This is a serious business, folks. When we were finally done traveling across the West, we headed back into the office for the last few episodes of the show, and it was amazing how easy it is to put together our shows now. You know, it's like running 5 miles and almost dying, and then turning around and running 2 miles and not even breaking a sweat. Yep, well, we're back at the 2-mile mark, and I'm not gonna lie, we're certainly enjoying it. So speaking of which, our production team was really challenged with the show footage and the post-production work, but they did it, and with grace. With each download, we got better and better, and speaking of downloads, I ended up having to buy another computer that specifically sits in the corner and uploads the show on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We named it Bob. Yes, we name our computers. Anyways, we'll just keep moving forward, and that's because we have goals, folks. Big goals. All right. Enough of me talking, let's take a look back at Season 3 and revisit a snippet from each of our guests. I had fun getting to relive all these episodes again, and I hope you enjoy this stroll down memory lane. So buckle in, and here we go. The first 2 episodes of Season 3 were all about the 2015 Sand Sport Super Show in Costa Mesa, California, September 18th through the 20th. In its 17th year, the show was sold out and the aisles were packed with consumers. We had the opportunity to have short visits with Trailer Legs Gordon Brand, Oceano Dunes SVRA Daniel Patterson, Sand Limo Joe Fab, Badass Unlimited Scott Theriot, Gibson Exhaust Sean Gibson, Raceline Wheels Jason Divis, Long Travel Industries Brian Bennett, Kicker Audio Seth Inslow, Arctic Cat Craig Kennedy, Speedworks Jeremy Hewell, Speed Energy Accessories Todd Romano and Robbie Gordon, PRP Seats Aaron Whittaking, Reach Air Medical Services Don Wharton, BLM El Centro Neil Hamada, Dragonfire Racing Chris Moore, PJ Performance Products PJ Jones, Rugged Radios Greg Cottrell, Weddle Industries Ron Weddle, Custom Built Motors Bruce McCullough, Tribal Whips Russ Enos, Next Level Motorsports Casey Schroeder, Yamaha Motor Company Travis Holland, Trail Armor Andre Turner, California Four-Wheel Drive Association Steve Garner, Moore Powder Puff Race Madison Dormack, Funco Motorsports Gil George, Jamar Performance Products Don Garnett, Buckshot Racing Andrew Buckshot, Glamis Sand Dunes Tim Gans, American Sand Association Nicole Nicholas Gillis, and Sean Parker, who was in charge of the show, gave us a rundown on the weekend. Plus, we wandered through some RVs, snuck into the Honda booth, and got to watch the Stadium Super Trucks. Plus, we even got to see the brand new BF Goodrich UTV tires. Then the following weekend, we created the 3rd and 4th episodes of Season 3 when we headed out to the Arizona Off-Road and Sand Expo in Phoenix, Arizona. This was the first year the show had been back since the economy dropped in 2008, and you could tell the consumers wanted it back as they were crawling the aisles. While we were there, we had the opportunity to meet with another large group of industry leaders, including Sierra Expeditions Will Coons, PCI Race Radios Rhiannon Freely, American Sand Association Bob Mason, ADS Racing Brian Turner, Race for the Wounded Brett Robinson, Loco Motors Buddy Crisp, Weller Racing Corey Weller, Fast Aid Jared Tesloff, DG Manufacturing Donald Copra, Flying High Total Performance Center Trisha Hammer, Lone Star Racing Dan Fisher, Rob Motorsports Melanie Coate, Oz Tents Justin Dowie, Super ATV Corey Jackson, Bentech Software Ron DeBell, Artec Industries Nate Price, Vision X Joe Bureau, Addictive Desert Designs Jared Hare, Tab Zone by DT Products David Turbufill, Side by Side Performance Mike Lasher, Geyser Brothers Nick Hatcher, Kevin McCullough Racing, TMW Off-Road Doug Tyler, AZ Game and Fish Department Matt Egbert, Let's Roll Off-Road Andrew McLaughlin, Bondurant School of High Performance Driving Austin Robinson, BLM OHV Ambassadors Chris Gamage, Turtleback Trailers Dave Mansterman, Vern Lewis Welding Supply Kara Robinson, Desert Toys Motorsports Corey Sappington, North Shore Drag Racing Louis Alberto and Edgar Conscious, Loco Motors Buddy Crisp, Campbell Racing Waylon Campbell, Champa Manuel Dwansa, Street Graphics Sam Breslin, Casey highlights Jason Cobb, and Andy Myers from the Arizona Off-Road and Sand Expo talks about the history of the show and leaks out a couple of awesome scenarios for next year's show. Oh, and of course we went RV shopping and broke into the Yamaha booth to get an even closer look at that new YXZ 1000. The third weekend on the road, we headed back to Southern California where we spent 2 days at the Off-Road Expo in Pomona. This show is all about the off-road. If there is something off-road related, then it's here. As part of the show, we talked to quite a few vendors, racers, and even event promoters, including Icon Vehicle Dynamics Tom Ways, Painless Performance Products Jeff Abbott, Savvy Off-Road Gerald Lee, Rock Solid Off-Road Performance Tyler Francis, ARB USA Matt Glass, Crawl Magazine John Herrick, BFG Outstanding Trails Award Tom Sullivan, Casey Curry Racing Casey Curry, Rod Hall Racing Rod Hall, Jagged X Justin Schuler, Power Tank Steve Sasaki, Score International Roger Norman, Revolution Gear and Axle Brooke Hilton, UTV Junkies Mike Hinckley, Sonora Rally Darren Skilton, Gilstrap Motorsports Clay Gilstrap, Tierra del Sol Bill Kassler, Jeepers Jamboree Bob Sweeney, PSC Motorsports Tom Allen, Metal Cloak Matson Breaky, RCV Performance Products John Cachiapagla, S-Pod John Anglastro, Brenthal Industries Jonathan Brenthal, Yoder Racing Kevin Yoder, Curry Enterprises John Curry, Dana Spicer Parts Randall Spear, Best Top Jim Chick, Laser Star Billet Lights Susie Scott, BF Goodrich Tires Alicia Schultz, Four Wheeler Network Rick Payway, JE Real Drivelines Jim Reel, Fox Racing Shocks Wayne Israelson, Yukon Gear and Axle Morgan Anderson, Southern Crush Pleasant Cook, Bauer Media's Ben Bauer, Off-Road Expos Doc Rayleigh, Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Ken Johnson. Plus, we did a fun segment on Friday about the sweat equity and building a perfect booth. We got to go watch the Lucas Oil racing trucks, we got to play on the Rubicon Express, Rubicon Trail area, and hang out with a whole lot of our off-road community friends. By the time we were done with those 3 shows, what we aired across 6 episodes, we had over 120 excellent interviews. I encourage you to go back and listen in on some of the hot information. But then we headed back into the office for our regularly produced shows, including Nick Ashby from Rockstar Performance Garage.
And that build marked our 30th build in 2 years at Rockstar Performance Garage.
No way. 30 in 2 years? You guys are nuts.
30 in a couple years. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of friends. I have 2 assistants who basically prep everything for me when I go out and work. They both hate me with a strong passion, I think. They don't say it. But I think that I've caused a couple relationship breakups for them. But at the end of the day, it's, to me, there's things in your life that last for a minute, and there's things in your life that distinguish who you are.
Right.
And I think that the success and the drive that Rockstar Performance Garage has done with all of its partners and companies it works with, I remember one of the first times, going out to King of the Hammers with, a pretty stock JK going out there just to hang out with Jen Wright, and kind of just kick it, and seeing what you do out there with your stuff, and and just seeing kind of everything that goes on out there, I was like, this is an industry I really want to be in, and then I grew up, as a desert rat, so to say, out of Glamis on 4-wheelers and 3-wheelers. It's amazing I'm still alive riding a 3-wheeler as much as I did, but I said one day I want to be, paid to do this, paid to consult, paid to drive vehicles, paid to, test things. Now, for the grace of God, I have, Lucas Oil's behind me, K&N's behind me, Kicker Audio's behind me, and Mickey Thompson. Some of the biggest brands out there, stand behind me and kind of support, whatever craziness or shenanigans that I bring up next. It's amazing, but it all comes down, I think, to a strong drive with commitment.
Aussie Locker Cora Jokinen.
So, after many, many, many years, including myself pestering the former owner, we are finally coming out with a Dana 60 and a GM 14-bolt locker. These lockers are called Torque Locker, after our Torque Master Industries parent company. And we're really excited about it because the design is like nothing else on the market. and as of yet, we haven't been able to break one. So the design itself is super stout. We've been working on patents on it and graphics and testing them for over a year now. So they're coming out, and we're super excited.
Outstanding Trails, Tom
For
Sullivan.
off-roaders that can really tell when there's a nomination that comes in that these guys have really got it made. I mean, they really know what they're doing. They really have dedicated a lot of time and effort and money, and a lot of it's volunteer time. And these guys have other jobs, but they're spending a lot of hours out there on the trail. And the nomination process is not just, hey, this is our club and we have 40 people and we run this trail every weekend. It's about what kind of ownership you take of that trail.
Sure.
And how much time you put into it. And also, we always want to know, if we give you this grant money, what are you going to do with it? What's your plan? And it's those folks that have those really concrete plans that really rise to the surface.
30-pack mat on buggy steering and front end.
So I went with the single-ended ram, just like I had before, but PSE builds their own. Everything is built better. The cap is better. It screws in to hold itself. The ram is already threaded for Heims, where my old tractor ram had this big uniball thing on it. I had to have a bunch of spacers so I could still, it was made for like a 1-inch bolt, and it's like, oh, no way I'm doing that. So going to a PSE, it's a Heim that threads in. Everything's perfect. It's got jam nuts, so you could rotate the fittings wherever you want. It makes it really easy to mount. And also the rod is only, I didn't measure it, but it's a lot smaller, only 1.25 inches or 1.1 inches. So it brings that, it's not identical side to side, but it brings the turning ratio closer to the same, so that it's not like a big difference when you're going down a dirt road.
Score International, Jim Ryan, and wanting to race the Baja 1000 because they're starting to see these programs on CBS.
Yeah, I think that's foreign teams coming from foreign countries is never, it's never been an issue. We've had up to 30 countries represented at a Baja 1000.
Yep.
Over the years, I think the quantity of those guys, absolutely, especially with the new initiatives we have up our sleeve for the next couple of seasons, will help drive our participant base into it's hard to say what we're expecting for the 50th. It will, we know that it will shatter all the records, especially with what we have also in store for the teams and the sponsor base and fan base. There's just a lot of great items in the works right now.
Man, I'm totally going to have to call you later when you can tell me what it is.
Yeah, there's exactly.
I know you can't right now. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I'm going to call you later, okay, Jim? Artec Industries, Artie Nuttall.
And I'll tell you, Charlene, it was like from there, the fire just started. And I mean, we just, we bought a welder, we were newly married, funds were tight and whatnot, but I started doing little jobs out of my 2-car garage in Tucson, and just slowly, just started building up a reputation.
Really?
And so that was kind of the birth of Artec.
Off-Roaders Rock, Stacy Albright.
Well, I met a guy, and he had absolutely nothing, and he stayed on his property while the fire burned over him. He was lucky that he had some CDF crew there with him, though, that probably saved his life. Well, anyway, he was known as I won't mention his name, but he was kind of known as the man on the mountain. Everybody knows this guy in the neighborhood, and they consider him this grumpy old guy that, kind of doesn't get along with anybody, and this and that. And I ended up befriending him, and anyhow, I came back about 2-3 days later to check on him and bring him some stuff, and he said, I'm really getting tired of you guys checking on me and this and that. And well, anyway, about another week goes by. I went back, and he was so lonely and so happy to see everybody and see me that he couldn't stand it. So I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "You're gonna miss us when we're gone." So that was pretty cool. He invited me to come back anytime, and so that was a neat story, and one of many. I made a lot of good friends up there. And
The Rinsport Group, Marty Fee. So your hobby is racing, if we can split this, but your true business is off-road. like being a part of the marketing scene?
Yeah, the Rennsport Group was founded actually to do public relations work for Nissan at the time, and this was in 1985, and they were actually sports car racing.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to 24 Hours of Le Mans, Daytona, Sebring, loved all that stuff too, and then eventually that turned into, when they went IndyCar racing and IRL racing, I was involved with Indianapolis 500 in that series. But yeah, it's been back and forth quite a bit. I mean, I think mostly I'm known for off-road racing, and that's fine. Yeah, it's my hobby too, outside of, riding bikes sometimes and surfing, but really, and restoring old cars, but really my hobby is my business and vice versa. And I'm just one of the fortunate few that is able to kind of do it.
Yeah.
My only regret really, Charlene, is I've never really had the opportunity to really go to the Baja 1000 and just go race. Okay, just go race.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the promotion. Don't worry about sponsorship. Don't worry about television. Don't worry about bringing media down. Just go racing. And that really hasn't been what I've been able to do. But, at the same time, I've been able to bring media down there and do those things, so everybody kind of benefited. So
Jessie Haynes Fabrication, Jessie Haynes.
It's definitely a gift to be able to do that.
Yes.
Just build the car in your mind, and you learn that you just have to be planning things out so far ahead, 5 steps ahead of, you're just putting in a lower frame rail and thinking, okay, at full lock with the tire flexed all the way, is that going to clear? Where, you don't even have axles or anything yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to just be able to picture it in your head how everything's going to fit and work together. But, anymore, I do some of the work in CAD. I'll draw the cars out and get a basic chassis design, and it definitely helps. I'd say the biggest thing that it helps with is giving you the looks that you want.
Sure.
So you don't end up with something and have to redo it because you don't like the way it looks. I mean, you can kind of get a good idea of what it's going to look like
that makes
on a
sense.
computer.
4x4 wire, Jon Stewart.
Within California, in that it has a sunset provision attached to it. In other words, it periodically is under review in order to see if it is worthwhile to renew it.
Oh.
So it has been going through about a 2-year cycle for renewals. The last time we managed to get a 10-year cycle, that was just 8 years ago. So we are now coming up onto the point we're beginning to focus to look to renew the program.
Jackson Motorsports Group, Nate Hunt.
When we go down there, we're there, of course, on BF Goodrich's behalf, but also working with the series that we are the official tire of, which is the Score series.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to go down there and work with the guys who Score hires to work with the ranchers and to work with the group of ranchers and landowners and find out which land we're allowed to race through and try to develop a race course that is challenging but fun for the racers to come down and race. And so we go out there and we get our GPSs fired up and our blank notebook papers and a couple pens because we usually run out of ink. And before the sun's up, we're going, and usually not done before the sun goes down.
Metal Cloak, Matson Braking.
The beauty about this industry and about the Metal Cloak product line is we never have to really sell it. I don't have salespeople that you call when you talk to us. I have tech experts who are going to help you understand how you should do your build, what works best for you. And more times than not, we'll have somebody call who wants the top-of-the-line kit because that's what they want. It's the coolest thing out there. And we talk them down off of that because maybe their Jeep isn't the best, or maybe it's not necessarily the setup that they need that for, or it's not necessarily the way they're going to use it. If somebody really wants it, we'll still sell them the Game Changer system with 6-packs. But the Rocksport system or the ARB system are both great options for them because they don't necessarily need to spend that extra money.
Four Wheel to Heel, Nate Ramos.
Yeah, I'm actually still active duty, as well as our president and our current treasurer. and most of our board members are some of them are disabled veterans. We have one wounded veteran, actually, that's on our board, and most of them were veterans themselves. So I have access to Walter Reed, and I have been volunteering at Walter Reed, setting up Christmas meals or holiday meals for the last 11 years. So I've been doing the wounded and disabled thing for a long time. So I have direct access to the hospital here. How we get warriors, we're reinvigorating the program. We just hired a new warrior liaison who is a wounded veteran himself. And him and I are going to be trying to create a better system to reach out to VAs, national hospitals all over the nation, as well as military hospitals and military volunteers, so we can get a better warrior presence.
Durham Town Adventures. And of course, I'm going to throw myself under the bus. You'll get to laugh at my luck. I was driving a two-door JK out on the trail, having a great time. Of course, right? That's what we do. A BF Goodrich Tires test driver and myself were in the Jeep. And after our little expedition, we headed back to the main area where we sat to have lunch. Not long after, a group came in whooping and hollering my name. And I'm like, what are they saying? As I turned around, I saw someone holding a fender. Yes, seriously, I had drove the fenders off this JK too. I don't know what happened. Like, you cannot tell when they fall off, I swear. Team Lerner, Amy Lerner.
About 5 years ago, was in the midst of my usual routine of reading, the Sunday newspaper, and usually I just flip right through the sports section, and there was a headline that caught my eye about an all-women's race in Morocco, and I thought, I wonder what that is. Read about it and learned of something called the Rally Aisha des Gazelles, which is an all-women's off-road, not truly a race. It's a multi-day rally. You are entirely off-road, and you try to make your way from checkpoint to checkpoint every day, 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 of them, using nothing but compasses and maps from the 50s or 60s. You hand in all your electronics. You have no modern technology to get you where you need to go, and it just sounded fascinating, and it was something that was so entirely outside of my comfort zone, and I guess I was just really ready for a challenge. So I got some more information. I, put the article in front of my husband, and I said, honey, I found my midlife crisis, and he laughed, and then he read it, and he said, that sounds kind of cool. If you can make it work, we'll see what we can. We'll figure it out, if you really want to do it, and I did.
Yukon Gear and Axle, Tate Hudson.
We spend a lot of time in R&D with our guys here, and between our quality control lab, our engineers upstairs, and the purchasing department, we get a good idea of what is really needed in the aftermarket, what's coming up, the new vehicles and the changes to those differentials. A lot of the big three automakers made some drastic changes recently, and so we're kind of catching up to that standard, if you will, and figuring out what's going to be the better product to carry in the market moving forward. So there's some differentials that we're really dropping an older line and bringing a newer line in and making that the new standard with some conversion components because it's just a better product.
Crawl Magazine, John Herrick.
My take on it is look at who you're going up against in most of these land use battles. And they're people that approach it with a fervor akin to religion. I mean, it's just, there's very little, if any, leeway or compromise available. And so I started kind of thinking inside my own head about if we approached it like that it was that if a person is really serious about their sport and they want to remain as engaged as possible in making sure that it stays around for generations, then you have to admit that a sacrifice has to be made, that you have to make an investment. And I just looked at it like tithing and said, if you're going to spend $2,000 a year on your rig, you ought to spend another $200 on land use. If you're going to spend $2,500 on tires and wheels, you ought to kick in $250 for land use.
Yeah.
You got no place to use your stuff if you don't have a place to use your stuff. So why not support it? And I just figured 10% was a reasonable number.
Our SEMA adventures. Well, I refer to it as the ultimate mix of Skittles. Color everywhere and polished aluminum next to it. Although this year was clearly the year of the Rat Rod and the Mad Max style vehicles. From a distance, you're like, okay. But then when you get right up close to them, you can honestly appreciate the intricate welds that are putting the finishing touches on these vehicles. Winter 4x4 Jamboree, Jeff Bieber.
We have 25 trails, I believe. The majority of them are on Sand Mountain in the Sand Hollow State Park area, or adjacent to it. We do have some trails that take you out on the Arizona Strip. We've got some out by Kanab, Utah. The Barracks Trail is a very popular trail. It's not real hard. There's 25 river crossings on that one. That's a weather-permitting trail. We've got some scenic trails. Tocqueville Falls is a good scenic trail, nice, easy. If you don't have a rock crawler and you just want to get out and enjoy some scenery, we have trails for that as well.
Summit Machine, Julene Judd.
On our job shop side, I mean, we take on everything from medical to construction to aerospace, military, jewelry, you name it. We've got parts that are on the Mars rover right now that we made 10 years ago. So we've been able to really get involved in just about anywhere. A month ago, I guess it was about a month ago, we just finished up a job where we made some parts. I can't really divulge too much because it is proprietary and it's got some confidentiality matters wrapped around it.
Sure.
But it is military, and they're basically some molds that we made that the military ends up using for this line of aircraft that they are currently, running through their contracts of build. So,
Ace Racing, Will Overton.
We have found a US-based car to compete at King of the Hammers in 2016, and as part of the process of trying to grow the team and everything, we are offering a slot to someone under 30 to come and join us as part of the race team. Come and join us in the RV actually.
Yeah.
And come and experience what it's like to be at King of the Hammers.
30-pack Matt on drive shafts.
The biggest thing is the reason you're upgrading or the reason you're replacing. So the factory vehicle that drives for 250,000 miles on a factory drive shaft is going to be fine, right? Like, just put another drive shaft in. Now, if you're going out wheeling and you're putting dents in your factory drive shaft and you're grinding on rocks and the joints are blowing out because they're not greased, upgrading to an aftermarket unit is probably the way to go, and it'd be money well spent just for a longevity standpoint.
If any of these guests caught your attention, be sure to take some time to go back and rewatch their episode or spend some time digging around on their pages. Never a dull moment here at Bauer Power Hour. In conclusion to this very special episode, I'd like to thank everyone that has believed in this somewhat crazy project. Matt, my parents, Ben and Deanna, and my brother Brent, who have always stood behind or beside me as I've grown Bauer Media. Our production team, including Gabriel Arnn and Shelby Benson, who make the show happen behind the camera and on the computers. And thank you to our partners, BF Goodrich Tires, Discount Tire, Kicker Audio, the Mopar Pennzoil Express Lane, and the great folks behind each of those companies' names that believed in this project. I sincerely want to thank each of you that is watching and enjoying these shows. Let's be honest, I'm not making these shows for me, I'm doing this for you. I could have let Gabe have his weekends and gone to the shows by myself to chat with folks, but I think it's fun to let you in on their exciting stories too. Thank you all for being awesome, I really do appreciate it. And if you have any questions or guest suggestions, please never hesitate to reach out via our website, BauerPowerHour.com, and click on Let's Chat to send me an email, or go to any one of our social media sites and message me. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter almost every day. We love to hear your feedback and ideas. I can hardly wait for Season 4 to roll out next week. And, as normal, we're switching things up a little bit. With it being the holiday season and, if there is such a thing, the off-season for the off-roading community, I'm going to slow our roll down just a little bit. We'll be releasing a new show every Tuesday for the next 12 weeks that will constitute Season 4. But there's a twist. On Thursdays, we'll be releasing our Season 1 shows with a new fancy look and feel, plus adding in some elements that we have learned along the way. Exciting times for certain. Well, time for me to get back to work. So much to do with all of our 2016 plans. And until next season, have a great week in the dirt.
If you drive a utility vehicle, Jeep, or motorcycle, Kicker Audio has the Powersports stereo gear to entertain you at any location. The gear is compact, weatherproof, and provides you with great sounding music wherever the job or fun takes you. See your authorized Kicker dealer for your off-road tunes.
When you're driving down the road, the last thing you want to think about is tires. Trust Discount Tire to get you up to speed on the right tire for your vehicle. Log on now to discounttire.com for the best deals on tires and wheels. We're America's largest independent tire store. Come check us out, and we'll show you why. And remember, if ever you're not satisfied with one of our tires, please feel free to bring it back. Thank you.
Are you driver enough to handle the ultra-high performance of the new BF Goodrich G-Force Comp 2 all-season tire, or the rugged toughness of the all-terrain TA KO2? From August 31st to September 27th, get a $50 or $70 MasterCard reward card after submission when you buy a set of 4 new BF Goodrich passenger or light truck tires.
Head to your local BF Goodrich dealer today.
See redemption form for complete offer details. Offer expires 9/27/2015. Void where prohibited. Reward card issued by U.S. Bank pursuant to license from MasterCard International Incorporated.
Want to learn more about the guests on today's show? Visit www.bowerpowerhour.com for more information, photos, and videos. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by searching for Bauer Power Hour Show for daily breaking news updates.